And we are live. Hello, everybody. This is B&T Sports Talk. I am T, and the gentleman that is to my right is B. And he's on his cell phone, y'all. So we gon' he's on
What
the
up,
road
everyone?
coming back from softball tournament. Is that right?
Softball tournament out in Pismo Beach with my sister and my sister-in-law. So we're just wrapping up the trip here on our way back. Been sitting in this car for about
Oh
three and a
my
half hours now. So
All right.
it's been
So,
interesting.
chat, hopefully everybody, if you are on, we appreciate you being on. Get into the chat, be a part of the conversation. If you like what you're hearing, like the video. If you like what you're hearing, then please subscribe. If you see Brian falling asleep, please wake him up. Okay, appreciate it. I don't want him to go on the 4 hour drive, but we appreciate him coming on, obviously. So let's jump. Let's get started. Let's jump into it. So this week in the world of sports, well, ain't a whole lot happening, but we're definitely going to touch on some different topics and try to pique a little bit of interest and a little bit of conversation. We're going to start with the NFL, where there was a little bit of news, and it sounds like Jimmy G is gone. So what's going on, B? What happened to you? What happened to Jimmy? I was about to say it,
That
now I
ain't
thought
my
about it. I
boy,
was like,
but yeah, don't say Niners are getting ready to part ways with Jimmy G here. So the trade looks like the Trey Lance era is officially underway here for the Niners here, which is going to be interesting here because you know for Jimmy G, where's he going to end up going? Deshaun
that's.
Watson's looking like he's getting half a season suspension here, and so do the Browns go out and get Jimmy G to cover that first half? Because really, that's the last place that needs a quarterback to start the season off. Everyone is pretty much set and ready to go. Or do the Niners pay this dude $23 million to sit on the bench in case Trey Lance don't work out?
Well, I mean, that's a tough place to be in, and one of the reasons is the value of Jimmy G. I mean, we just saw who was it? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Baker Mayfield be traded for, what was it again? A bag of
A
chips.
bag of Frito
That's
chips.
right, a fifth
Yes.
round draft pick. Just to clarify, and so if that's what he's worth after being a pretty good but average quarterback, what is Jimmy G worth? And I think that might help you answer the question if he's going to be riding the pine or if there's actually a trade out there. So I'll ask you this: do you think the Niners actually trade him? And seeing how the value might be a little bit low, is it worth it? I mean, what do you think?
I think have to hold to him at this point. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of money sitting on the bench, but you got to anticipate if something happens to Trey Lance, and you just don't know what you're going to get out of him because there's not a lot of film on Trey Lance. So, to me, I don't think it's a bad idea to hold on to him just in case it doesn't work out to start the season. And remember, the Niners are a Super Bowl contending team. That is a team
No, they're not.
that is going to contend for a Super Bowl in my eyes. And so, if the season starts going south, quarterback who can come back in and kind of get things back on track here.
Well,
But
I mean,
do the Niners hold? Do you want $23 million sitting on the bench, or do you give that to
yeah,
someone else? And the other thing too is what team is going to take on that contract? That's a big contract.
yeah. I mean, it like I said, the value proposition is the problem, and his worth versus what he's making is, he's basically like Russell Westbrook right now, and so
Yeah.
he's actually worth more to the Niners as a backup quarterback than he would be to some other team as a starting quarterback or whatever, or he's worth more than the third round or fourth round draft pick that the Niners would get back. So
That's the
yeah.
thing too. Is the league right now? Jimmy G's league worth, like if he was to go to another team, probably half of what he's going to be making with the Niners.
Oh
He's
yeah.
probably a
Oh
one-year,
yeah.
$10 million guy right now, but for the Niners, he's a $23 million man right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I think that kind of leads. Well, first off, if he, I think you pointed out a good possibility for the Browns because they're stupid, and there's a chance that they may try to make some type of move in order to fill that spot if, in fact, Deshaun Watson is going to be out for a majority of the season. Because if you think about it, when it comes to quarterbacks, if a quarterback misses 10 games, that's the season.
Yeah.
There's no reason to trot his ass back out there in week 12, to try to pick up the pieces of a 5-10 or 6-11, whatever, however many games we're playing now, a season. So I think honestly, for me, if this is the Cleveland Browns, this is a punt. Not to get on a tangent with the Browns, but this is kind of a punt for them. So I could see them possibly maybe making a play to get a quality backup, and maybe they're in the position to pick up a guy like Garoppolo and just stick him out there knowing that he's going to play, and giving him an opportunity to maybe float their season long enough to get Deshaun Watson back. I mean, you never know. You never know.
Well, and I think Garoppolo gives a team at least a chance to win. I think he's not going to sit there and throw bombs, but I think as far as a game manager, I think he could do it. And it's not like the Browns have a bad team. It's a decent team. Not a great team, but at least a team that he could try to keep afloat at 500, maybe be a couple games over 500. The other thing, too, is Deshaun hasn't even thrown a ball in over a year.
Right.
He had a whole year off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He should have been playing, because then he would have had less charges against him,
Yeah.
Deshaun has an injury.
More massage parlors.
Yeah. If Deshaun Watson got an injury, somebody please go get him as many male massage therapists as you can find. All dudes.
Jeez, that probably start. If there are more allegations when he's got dude massage therapists, there's a problem after that point.
Men won't complain. He'll be fine. That's rude. They'll just quit. Fuck it. This is stupid. I'm out. This guy rubbed my butt.
That's terrible. That is terrible. But it's crazy because training camp starts this week and next week.
Yeah.
It's if they can't trade him by then.
Oh, he's
are they
on
stuck
the
with him?
Oh, he's on the squad. Yeah, he's Russell Westbrook for real.
But it's not bad having that man on the bench.
No. I mean, like I said, he's worth more to the Niners. So I completely understand that. And the question is, and we kind of talked about this last time about Trey Lance and what we would expect from him. And I remember talking about just saying, hey, you got to be willing as a Niner fan to go through some of the bumps and bruises that are going to go along with him becoming a every down quarterback. But at least in my opinion, I think that's going to really take a hit. The Niners are going to take a hit because of that, right? I mean, they're not just going to stroll this guy out here and they're going to win 12 games in the season. I mean, that'd be a miracle if it did happen, if the guy's talent is there. But I just haven't seen enough snaps to think that you're not going to face the bumps in the road that come with having a new quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be there's going to be a big learning curve for them as well, but I think it's to most of the fact is how long are they willing to wait for that learning curve when they're in title mode right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's going to be the biggest thing is how they could get this going here before anything else.
Yeah. And
sorry, we just returned back, so
it's all good. America B is in the mountains. He's about to get blown off a cliff. Y'all here to win?
Straight off this cliff, bro.
But yeah, but don't you think the Niners are kind of taking a pretty big risk here, though?
Yeah. Oh, they're taking a huge risk right here because you're risking not having a decent backup quarterback. You're gonna have a rookie quarterback in your own state of mind going, hey, you got to go win us a game. Are they ready for that? And so that I think that would be the biggest question for them going forward is. Like I said, that progression there, they're already progressing. They've come close to winning Super Bowls here.
Yeah. And
so are you really ready to risk a down season to rebuild on a already established team?
I think the second part of that too is if that does happen this year, then what happens to Deebo Samuels, right? What happens to the guys who are good on your team who have been there, or some of your offensive players, mainly Deebo Samuels, because why am I losing the tight end's name? Help me out. What's
George Kittle.
Thank you.
George Kittle.
George Kittle is under contract. He got paid. But, we already talked about Deebo Samuel coming into the season about how, he's not getting paid and really wanted to be traded. So you put Trey Lance in there and they struggle offensively. I mean, ultimately, that could mean that your boy Deebo is like, I'm good. I'm out. Like, I'm out of here. Yeah. So that's definitely a possibility. Definitely a big risk, I will say, that the Niners are taking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, well, so we're gonna rotate into some MLB, and first we're gonna start off with a big happy birthday to a certain San Francisco Giant. So let's talk. Damn, your hair grew back that fast, bruh?
Bro, man, I'm telling you.
Well, sorry to interrupt the question.
This is all natural. This ain't even Rogaine right here, dog.
Goddamn. You was like bald when you bald a week ago, or when was it? I don't even remember, man.
Dude, it was like a month ago. Look at this, man. I definitely got no problem growing hair. Too bad I just couldn't grow height wise. That'd been nice.
Gotta make your hair tall, like Kramer, Just make your hair tall. Oh man. Anyway, sorry for the tangent there, folks. Get back to today is the birthday of a Hall of Famer, or should be Hall of Famer, San Francisco Giant. Barry Bonds. So happy birthday, Barry, if you're watching this. Pretty sure you aren't, but happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the second greatest Giants player to grace the Bay Area here. And I actually got into a little debate with someone on social media, go figure, about his Hall of Fame. And now today the Hall of Famers were inducted, and I guess the big topic around Barry Bonds not getting in is obviously one is his steroid use, and he unknowingly took a cream that turned out to be performance enhancing PEDs, or I just pronounced it. But let's talk about this for a quick second here, because it just drives me nuts that when people go, oh well, he used steroids, he should be banned from the game. It improved his game. And it's like, well, steroids don't improve your game, okay? They just make you look bigger. They make you're going to hit the ball further because you have more muscle. But it doesn't train someone's eye, their study of the game, their hand-eye coordination, all of that there. PEDs don't do that shit, okay? That's a God-given talent that man took and just ran with for his year. Did he get big over time? Yes, he did. But to that, though, that made everyone watch baseball.
Yeah.
And we've talked about
this.
Yeah,
well, and you're right on the money. The other thing I will point out is that Barry Bonds had a Hall of Fame career prior to any of this.
Yes.
So he already was, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame player prior to the whole cream and all that. I think he's just paying the price because they couldn't find enough dirt on him, Mark McGwire and all these other guys went out in front of the press and said, hey, yeah, I did it. And he was one of the guys that was just like, yeah, no, I only did it unknowingly. You don't have anything on me. No, thank you. And so I think that's one of the reasons. But as time goes on, I think we need to realize that a lot of players were on him. And the era was ripe with a lot of that. And you just gotta give these guys the nod, because there were plenty of coaches and GMs and owners who were aware of what was going on in their own league, but turned their heads because they were making dollars hand over fist.
Oh, absolutely here. And that's the big topic is baseball was, but you know how hard it is to get people to watch this sport as it is already? It's difficult. They're not selling out. But look at that era when you had Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa chasing a home run record. Yep. Tell me those stadiums weren't packed, even for visitors. When the Cubs or Cardinals came to town, they wanted a show. People were getting there early to see a batting practice show, to see a ball get hit 500 feet. Right. You don't see that as often. So it drew money to this league. Bonds' home run chase. Dude, his single season is all time. That was drawing people to the park.
Absolutely. Yeah, you remember ESPN would do a drop in the middle of no matter what was happening at the time. It could have been the middle of a basketball game. It could have been the middle of whatever. Barry Bonds up at the bat. They were charting every single at bat down the stretch towards the end of the season. So yeah, it was great.
You don't see that now in baseball.
No.
There's no cutouts going, hey, we're watching something great. Let's see it. They don't even do it for perfect games happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everyone made money off of that era. You have to honor that era in baseball. Was it the steroid era? Absolutely. There was a lot of guys juicing in that era there.
Yeah.
But it brought money to baseball. People were in the stands making money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a very good time for baseball. No one cared about the time. Then all of a sudden now these guys are retired. People are finding out. They want to try to put a black eye on the game. Dude, there's advantages being taken every single day. Now, granted, it was PEDs. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But the PEDs don't give you much an advantage.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. There were bad ball players getting caught with steroids. And they had a very lackluster career, to say the least.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it was just the big dogs. You know, it was Canseco, it was McGuire, it was Barry Bonds, Rafael Palmeiro. You know, there was different. He was, you know, big time guys who were the ones who were being caught. But but it's not, you know, like you said, Brian. It's enhancing an already good player. Otherwise, we would have had these, you know, dopes. You know, we would have had a lot more guys who were good if that were the case. There would have been a ton more guys hitting more home runs.
There was one giant out there who got caught. It wasn't Bonds, but it was this guy by the name of Marvin Bernard. He got caught with PEDs. One of the worst. He was like a fan favorite, you know, that lovable player. But it's not like he was the world's greatest player. And by all means, did the PEDs not improve his fucking game one bit. and that's what I'm saying.
Should have just kept his money.
He should have just kept
whatever you paid for the PEDs, go get a refund.
And, you know, and with the Hall of Fame happening today, David Ortiz got inducted, right? And he was found with PEDs, you know, in his day. Yeah. But he still found a way into the Hall of Fame. So you mean to tell me David Ortiz's track record is better than Barry Bonds' track record?
No, it's because he's a big, lovable bear, and Barry Bonds is not. Barry Bonds is a prickly, you know, guy, and he always has been. And the problem is that, you know, Hall of Fame and a lot of these things are managed and run and set up by media. You know what I mean? And so Bonds has never really been a media darling, especially not later in his career. So I think it's just paying the price for some of that. And I think he's getting the Rasheed Wallace technical treatment right now.
That's a good.
You know what I mean? Like Rasheed, she wasn't even like Draymond. She would just say a few words, but everybody knew this.
She didn't have to.
He didn't have to say
anything. He had to look at someone wrong, and he was getting technicals. You know what I'm saying?
Technical.
He got kicked out for just staring down a referee that one game.
Yes.
But you can't. The sport is not judged on how well you're received in the media. It's about what you do in the game.
Yeah.
And so my thing is the media is, I've always had a problem with the media because they try to get something out of the athlete that they need a story for it. The media needs a story for something like us to talk about.
Yeah.
When you poke the bear for so long, he's going to have enough of it. Maybe the PEDs was making him an angry person. Who the hell knows? But Bonds has never liked the media since day one.
Dude, yeah, he's just like Michael Jordan, dude. MJ's the same way. MJ's the guy that will say, no more autographs, get the fuck out of my face. And that's just the type of person he is. Now, because he was a media darling during his playing days, and because you didn't have social media and all this stuff, you didn't know about all the illegitimate children, all other bullshit that, you know, was going on in Michael Jordan's life. Where if he came out now, he would be pelleted, you know. With
100%,
100%. But because he was such a cash cow, everything was positioned to work towards MJ being on a pedestal. So, you know, I think, but I'm just offering that example just to show that sometimes great players are that way. Sometimes greats are like they're prickly. And like you said, the media and the writers that are responsible for getting guys into these situations, you know, the whatever association of blah, 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 blue, you know, some of them are going to hold some gripes against certain guys. And that'll keep guys from getting into or getting the accolades they deserve.
And that's terrible because he is I think top two. The top two baseball players in my eyes reside in the Bay, Willie Mays and Barry Bonds, for how they changed the game. It's fathomed that one of your best players is being treated like this and not being backed up by MLB for what he did during that time. And even before that time, man, that dude was electric to watch.
Yeah.
And he's just not getting the treatment that he honestly deserves. He's getting He's getting treated like an outcast because he did something that everybody else was doing in that era.
He had the cream on.
Unreal.
Had the cream on.
Unreal.
And so again, happy birthday, Barry Bonds. No, it's okay.
Happy birthday, my brother.
So next question is Juan Soto getting traded, and if so, where is he going?
So this story is hilarious, bro. So last week he turned down $452 million on a 10-year extension.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that.
Unreal. Like, how you gonna turn down almost $500 million not to play ball, right?
I would never do that.
So he won the home run derby, but guess how he got to the home run derby?
How's that?
He had to buy his own flight, a commercial flight to the home run derby.
Damn.
The Nationals were so mad at this man. They said, "We're not paying for your flight to the All-Star to the home run derby."
Wow.
And told him to catch his own flight, right?
Dang.
But bro, that looks bad because now we know that the team doesn't want you. So now there's trade. Now it's like who's gonna go out and get this man? One, you're only getting him for 1 year because the dude's probably seeking $500 million plus for the next 10 years. So you probably need a half a year rental. My Giants are in that discussion, but the way they've been playing, I would not go to that team right now. Obviously, you got the Yankees, you got the Dodgers. The unfortunate part is a small market team isn't going to be able to afford him for half a season.
Right.
The Nationals are going to want top draft picks, and we see around the league, our teams willing to part big time draft picks for a rental player.
Right.
That's what
you don't want to give up assets
for
1 year. Yeah, and I guess the Nationals sound a lot like a very bitter girlfriend. It's like, I gave you everything. How could you leave me?
They took his credit card and declined everything. And it's unfortunate. Man. So I would like to see my Giants go out and get him because for a team that doesn't have anyone on a high payroll, a stadium that's paid off, money to spend, this is maybe the one thing that they could do to spend the money here. But they're going to have to compete with some big bankrolls. The Dodgers will find a way. The Dodgers are like the Warriors, and I hate saying that, but they paid the athletes to go play for them. Yeah. The Dodgers have the most ridiculous payroll that's out there right now, and so do the Yankees. Their payrolls are bigger than like half the teams in the MLB. So it's going to be coming down to those three teams. I think teams that are going to willing to spend money for that time. Or he may ask for like 4 years, like $100 million a year. You might as well just give him that for the money you're going to be paying. I can't pay a dude 10 years, $500 million. And that's all guaranteed money in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy.
It'll be interesting to see where the world's richest contract's going to go. That's to say the least.
Oh, man. Baseball. No cap. So much money. I can't believe it.
$500 million for an athlete. What the hell,
man? God damn, that boy got paid. No, but all right. So, did you want to kind of talk on the Hall of Fame inductees and kind of your thoughts on that, or if you want to move forward?
It's nice. Like I said, it sucks because there's athletes who should be in this Hall of Fame that aren't getting in.
Yeah.
Roger Clemens. I think the big two are Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. Roger Clemens being the best pitcher in the game.
Yeah, the man turned into a circus clown in retirement.
Yo.
I mean, a circus clown for real.
But, and then on top of that, it just sucks because the Hall of Fame is such hollow ground. It's something to be celebrated, right? You're celebrating the game and the athletes who paved the way for this game.
Right.
I think the NBA is probably one of the worst when it comes to Hall of Fames because you can just play 5 years and they throw everyone in that Hall of Fame, right? Like, it's crazy.
Everybody goes.
The NFL is kind of the same way, but it's a little more of a decorated Hall of Fame. There are guys who are very willing who get in there. But baseball just... Dude, they'd be okay if no one got in the Hall of Fame. They'd be all right with it,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's a day that's supposed to be celebrated, right? You were coming off the All-Star break. You're celebrating the guys who paved the way for the game. And once again, like I stated, David Ortiz is the first guy in this Hall of Fame that is known for taking steroids.
But he good though.
But he good because
he
was a
good
teddy
though.
bear. Like you said, he was a teddy bear in the league, right?
Right.
So
right.
of course he's gonna be. Yeah, man, I want to get this guy in because we all enjoy talking to David Ortiz. The steroids thing, nah, that's okay. It's like, dude, eat fucking dirt with that shit, man.
He smiled a lot, and like I don't know, man.
Then he goes back home and almost get murdered. It's unreal.
Hey, man, what's the rule? You can't go back to the hood, man. Can't go back to the hood.
I know, right? And the Dominican Republic ain't nothing to mess with when it comes to the hood, man.
Hell no, you get stabbed real quick. Shanktastic.
But
all right, well,
the only thing not to celebrate this weekend is the way the Giants got swept by the fucking Dodgers. I'm sorry for cussing. It just drives me nuts, man. Like,
oh no, I know your love for Southern California teams and how much you love them.
Dude, the worst was we were so close to Southern California this trip. We were like at the halfway point. Dude, there was so much Dodger stuff there. I was breaking out in hives. It was making me allergic, man. It was just terrible.
The blue was everywhere.
And they put it on the Giants. There's not much to talk about, but they got to get this bullpen shit fixed, man. Like I said, last week, me and you could go out there and probably save a game for them compared to these guys, man. They're just... Dude, it's bad to watch. Like, we were watching the game Thursday night, and the Giants were down 5-1. They go hit a grand slam to tie the game, and then literally the next inning go say, we joking, we blow it, and just gave up a 3-run home run after that.
Game
I was
over.
like, oh my God, I can't watch this. And the same was said all weekend. So, fuck the Dodgers anyways, man. I sorry to curse again, but
right.
they hit a nerve.
Yeah,
so.
We got a chat from Victoria. Try living with Dodgers gear. Laugh out loud. So,
man, Victoria, what you should do is grab all that Dodgers gear, throw it in the trash can, make them go buy some more, take that, and then burn the next set of gear.
Yeah.
Yep. Burn it all. Get rid of it.
All right, we're going to transition into the NBA, and we'll have a couple of short topics dealing with our home teams, or our favorite teams, not home teams. I'm going to start with mine. We'll start with my wonderful, confused Los Angeles Lakers. So we are obviously looking to upgrade our roster. We're trying to dump Russell Westbrook, which has been a failed experiment. Everybody's waiting around on their hands for Kyrie to come sliding in on a flat world disc. And you could imagine that, right? You get him wearing a cape, riding around on a little disc shaped like the Earth. It'd be great. Anyway, so we're waiting on him to come in, and it's not happening yet. They just don't know what they want to do. And the Lakers have made some secondary moves, or attempted secondary moves, to try to pull Buddy Hield from the Pacers. Now, what's funny about this is, Buddy Hield could have been a Laker last year. They had a deal on the table to trade Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell to the Kings for Buddy Hield at that particular time. And in Laker fashion, for some strange reason, they pivoted and made this ginormous trade for one guy. They traded KCP, Montrezl Harrell, and Kyle Kuzma, and a first-round draft pick for Russell Westbrook. So, here we are. Now we're trying to trade for Buddy Hield, and guess what the price is?
Too much.
A first-round draft pick. We could have just traded you could have just traded a couple players and got the guy. Now we'd have to trade away a future pick, and the idea was to get him and Miles Turner together, which the Pacers are open to, but they want 2 first-round draft picks. And of course, you'd have to send out THT, Taylor Horton Tucker, and you'd have to send out Russell Westbrook, because the league is making the Lakers pay for their mistake. If you're going to trade the Westbrook to any team, the entire league has said, I want both of your first-round draft picks if I'm going to take on Russell Westbrook. And so the Lakers are paying that price for a very, very bad decision. And in my opinion, they still need to make a move of some type. They're going to have to come off that second draft pick if they want to do anything next season. I'm sorry. Yep. They can try to hold on to it, and I know why they're doing it, because they want the asset. But LeBron's not going to be around forever, and he hasn't signed an extension, and he's only under contract through next year. So if you want him to continue to play, if you want him to sign an extension, then you need to go ahead and you need to give up that pick, because that 2029 pick ain't going to mean a damn thing for the next 3 to 4 years. So I just think it's unfortunate that they look so stupid. They just got to figure out a way to get it done.
There's no way they could try to get this done, man. It's just going to be too difficult for them. They're too far behind the 8 ball, man. They went out and got all these superstars, and we've talked about it for a while now. It's just when you have your one and only asset, you can't afford to lose it.
Yeah.
And now, yes, you're right. They want, okay, you guys want Buddy Hield and Miles Turner? Give me your first round draft picks.
Yeah.
The Lakers are like, oh man, we just got them.
Yeah, right. We haven't had draft picks in 4 years, but
and now we finally get them, and now you're gonna lose them. Like, just imagine not having draft picks for 5 more years.
Yeah.
Really think about that.
But if you can trade it for a championship, then it doesn't matter, or contention at least. I mean, there's a lot of teams around the league that will make that trade. The problem is your future is always going to be tied to whatever guy you can get. We got a comment from Jerome. I wish the Lakers cut themselves from the Kyrie talk and try to get Buddy and Turner. Yeah, that's kind of what they attempted to do. They're just not willing to pay the price. I think if you can somehow turn Westbrook into Kyrie Irving, that is the deal, in my opinion. But if that doesn't work and you're going to pivot, it just comes down to the fact they have to be willing to give up that 2029 draft pick. So
here's the thing, though. The whole Kyrie talk's never going to end. Because of his relationship with LeBron, this will be a discussion until he's either with the Lakers or he backs out of it and gets cold feet. I guarantee you those two have been talking since that report came out.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be hard for that to take place. So it's never going to end because it's something that LeBron needs. I don't get how you can answer this better than I can. I just don't understand how you can invest all this money and all this effort into washed up superstars and not want to try to save for the future. Like, Lakers they got to be the only team who was thinking that way. Like you said, you could trade for a championship. That's nice, but you can't sustain it because all these guys are going to retire in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. No, that's how it is. I mean, and we talked about LA teams before. I mean, all the LA teams do it. I mean, so if you're looking at the Rams they buy up everything. It's all about buying the championship, not necessarily growing it. And don't get me wrong. I mean, they've had opportunities where they've drafted great players. And I mean, if you look at their last few first round draft picks from when they were bad, most of those players are pretty damn good. If you look at Brandon Ingram. Kyle Kuzma, to some extent, is a okay player. Josh, oh man, why can't I remember these guys' names? I forgot. Josh no, not Powell. What's the guy's last name? Can't remember his name. Never mind then. He wasn't. He must not be that good then.
He was
right. Jordan Clarkson. Julius Randle. The Lakers have drafted a lot of great players or good players. So it is kind of a risk reward thing. You have to kind of think, okay, well, if the Lakers had kept all those guys, if they still had Brandon Ingram, if they still had Lonzo Ball, they still had Julius Randle, I mean, could those guys get to a championship? And the question and the answer is, I don't know. They could build something which would last longer, much like what the Warriors are doing. So I understand what you're saying. Or they can do what they've always done historically, which is sacrifice them as assets for winning right now. Yeah, Thank you, Josh Hart. Why did I forget his name? Thank you, Jerome. And then of course the great Caruso. I don't know about Zubac, but Thomas Bryant had an okay career. Caruso definitely. Again, Caruso actually started with Oklahoma City. Before he came to us and played it with the G League team, but he was another sneaky find. So we've got good talent, we've got good recruiting, we got good guys and talent that are finding great players. Scottie Pippen Jr. is gonna would be a nice fit. Cole Swider was shot over 50% from the 3-point line. So I think the Lakers have the folks that help bring in talent. It's just that as an organization, they don't see the value in in the in the future. It's all about the right now.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So your team is in a lot of trouble, man.
Yeah, it's gonna suck, man. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I mean, look, but Bron might go back to Cleveland. I don't know what the hell is gonna happen.
Who knows? Who knows? But the man, I see that man playing in his 40s. The way he takes care of himself,
Yeah.
that I do see.
I think he stays in LA, man. Otherwise, the Lakers are gonna trade his ass real quick. He has to stay.
We could talk about it at another time, but does LeBron stay to break Kareem's scoring title in LA?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it necessarily matters where he is to break that. It's more going to matter about what shape he's in and if he can still play at that level. If he breaks Kareem record, which I'm sure he wants to do, I mean, that's kind of hard to pass up. If you're a player that has an opportunity to do that, you're probably going to shoot for it. And I don't know if he'll actually do it. It depends on his injuries. I mean, he did average 30 last season, but he did also miss some games. So it just really depends on his health. I think he can do it if he stays healthy for the next 3 years or so. And then if he does it, then you'll be looking at the greatest. He'll have the most points of all time, and they'll be another something you can put on his resume as a Hall of Famer. So
yeah,
but yeah, he could do it.
Let's talk about my team, who is now they're content. We are no longer outsurged, but they went out and got, I think, a big steal in JaMychal Green from Denver.
Yep.
He turned down, I think it was almost $3 million for the league minimum to come to Golden State. And that's what I love about the Warriors here is they help guys turn their careers into a pretty good career towards the end here. They were able to get David West, who in my eyes was like, they got David West at such the wrong time. His Indiana Pacers days were his best days.
Yeah.
But they were
and
then
Northern Pelican days.
His career.
Yeah.
Same with Sean Livingston, who was almost out of the league. And the Warriors got him back on track, and now he was a 3-time champion at that point.
Yeah.
For JaMychal Green, the best thing that could ever happen to him is, he had a down year shooting the three, but he's coming to a team where you've got the 2 best shooters in the world who are going to get so much attention. He's going to be wide open almost every other play, and all he's got to do is knock down a shot. So I see him taking the role of Otto Porter Jr.
Yeah, absolutely.
With this signing here is, he's a guy who can knock down from 3. Otto Porter Jr. saw a whole bunch of open threes this year.
Sure did.
He's not going to see that in Toronto this year. I could tell.
Hey, he went for the money, man.
But rightfully so.
Yeah.
A lot of guys who left the Warriors went for the money, who deserve it because of what the organization was able to do for them. And I think for JaMychal Green, I think, is he title chasing now? Of course he is.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna have a really good year because, again, he's known to shoot the 3. He's a big man who can also get to the paint.
Yep.
But if you're
around
open,
a little bit,
it's easier to shoot a 3 when you're open instead of having someone contesting it all the time. And so the Warriors are going to take all that pressure off of him to just hit buckets. Just make your shot. That's all they ask for. And they're going to be open most of the time.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be a good fit. You got a nice long guy who can stretch the floor for you, and I think that's ultimately what the Warriors have always brought in. That's what you guys do. You guys spread the floor. So you need somebody who can help rebound as a team and knock down open shots whenever they catch them and play a little bit of defense. So the Warriors have been very good about plug and play with the players that they add to their core of their roster. They're a lot like the Patriots, where they already know what they're going to do. They're just picking the players that fit the roles that they want for their system. So I think it's a great pickup for you guys.
Absolutely.
So now we're going to move over to a topic of debate. This is gonna take us to the end of the show here because we got to talk about this. There's been some dust up about the 2017 Warriors and the 01 Lakers. So I believe there was a conversation. This was brought to Shaquille O'Neal, and then Steph Curry also commented on it. Steph saying that, hey, yeah, we can't guard Shaq, but who's gonna guard me and Clay? And then Shaq saying, hey, I'm gonna get 60 points with no free throws.
You couldn't shoot free throws anyway.
Right,
so
exactly.
That mattered.
Hack a Shaq. So we're gonna take
he hates that now. You can't call it.
That's right. Hackadoo.
Whoever.
We're gonna take a stroll down memory lane, and we're gonna take a look at these two teams. Brian, I don't know if you can pull up I might have to pull up the roster for the Warriors because I got it up for the Lakers. But it wasn't even that long ago. It was 2017. I actually have to pull some stuff up, but
let's look at it from a position point. Let's start with the starters here. Right?
Oh boy, you sure you want to do that?
Let's start with that there. So obviously we could go to the center because we all know Shaq would dominate in that center position,
yes.
Right? It didn't matter who the Warriors center was at that point. But now let's move to the floor. Who was the Lakers' power forward during that time?
I believe. Let me look up their starting. But I'm trying to remember if this was the Horace Grant season or if this was a different one. I don't remember. Was it Horace Grant? It was either Big Shot Bob. Yeah, it was Horace Grant. Yes, that's right. See, I do remember stuff.
So now
Horace Grant.
We're going Horace Grant versus Draymond Green.
Yep. No, we're going Shaq versus Draymond Green. Or we're going Shaq versus...
It doesn't matter who it is because Shaq's going to dominate.
Yeah, okay, you're right. You guys don't really play a center.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, yeah, you're right. Shaq will take that one. But let's talk about Draymond Green versus Horace Grant at the forward position. Obviously, I'm going to make the case. You were looking for defense. And Draymond is a lockdown defender. I'm sorry. He's a smart defender. He's not a lockdown defender.
No, he's
a smart
off
defender
the ball,
there.
Yeah.
I've never seen Horace Grant as a defender.
He was a rebounding machine. That was his job. His job was to rebound. I think that would be
a good matchup in the paint between those two.
Well,
Horace Grant.
He averaged 8.5 points for the season. Okay. For that season, I'm pretty sure that's on par with what Draymond Green averaged.
Let's subtract 2 points from Draymond. Okay. Let's give him 6. Okay.
He shot roughly 80% from the line. Okay. And
that's about Draymond's status.
That's
there.
Okay. And then I gotta find the rebounds here because that's really what's most important. Is actually let's look up his play. Let's look up the playoff numbers. Let's not even look at that. So in the playoffs, he averaged 6 points a game. So his numbers went down there. Didn't take a lot of shots, obviously. And I'm still looking for the rebounds here. But I would say, in my opinion, Draymond is a better defender off ball. So I can give you that. I don't know if he would, if the rebounding thing would necessarily be the same.
I think the edge goes to Draymond.
You think edge goes to Draymond for rebounding?
The edge goes to Draymond because he's a smart rebounder, and not only that, but when he gets the ball, he's looking to push. A Horace Grant ain't looking to push.
No, he has no ball handling skills. He is strictly
zero. Now, Draymond don't have any ball handling skills, but at least he is pushing the tempo. Because we've seen the Draymond turnovers up the court, and that's just that caused an argument between between some players. There.
Who's playing beside Draymond though? It's Looney, right? I would say Looney and Horace Grant wash each other out, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter from the starting position at center. It's Kevon Looney.
Okay, I got you. So then I get it. Either way, it's a wash because you're going to lose. I mean, Shaq's winning whoever he's matched against.
Shaq's winning the center. Yeah. As far as points go, it's a tie between Draymond and Horace Grant.
Yeah.
As far as rebounding goes, I think you give the edge to Draymond. Defensively, I think you give the edge to Draymond as well. I don't think Horace Grant was a great defender down there because Draymond can go.
Game was different.
Draymond could guard anyone else.
Yeah.
At that position there.
Yeah, Horace Grant is not going to be switching on the small people. No, it's not. The same NBA. So he's not switching. He's sticking to his big, which means maybe he doesn't play as much because the Lakers did have a fairly deep team that year too. But let's move on from that. we looked. So that's our 5. That's our 4. So now we're looking at our 3.
Kevin Durant wins.
No,
Stop.
I thought this was
Kevin
the team.
Durant.
I thought this was the team before KD.
No, it
This is
wasn't.
17?
2017
Okay.
was the so. In hindsight, the 01 Lakers went 15-1.
Yeah,
The 17 Warriors went 16-1.
yeah.
So that was the Kevin Durant era. That was the first year of KD with us. So
Well,
at the 3, that you know for a fact we take that 3 position all day.
Well, I think they're going to take that position. However, I will say that we do have at least a few defenders that we can't throw at him. I mean, obviously with KD at his size, it's going to be really tough to match up with anybody. To be honest, but you know what? You can go back and you can take a guy. You had guys like Rick Fox, Devin George, Robert Horry, different guys that you can throw at him at least to give him a little bit to think about. But all in all, yeah, I believe you. I mean, you're not going to win that matchup with KD. I think. So then, if we go from the 3 to the 2, obviously this is going to bring up Kobe. So Kobe Bryant,
Klay Thompson.
and Klay Thompson. However you want to, it's either him and Steph or him and Klay. And Kobe, this is Kobe in his prime. This is approaching prime. Honestly, this is at number 8. I think Kobe Bryant wins that matchup against Klay Thompson. I think Klay Thompson is a great shooter. But I remember watching Klay play against Kobe, and it wasn't pretty.
No.
He's Kobe Bryant. I know it's been some years removed since we've seen him play, but he was a guy that was capable of getting to the rim at will because this was a younger version of Kobe, and was able to put a ton of pressure on the paint. And that's something that the Warriors struggle with. Is they have a great defender in Draymond, but Draymond and Looney don't classify as shot blockers, at least in my opinion.
No.
So I think you get the edge there. So I'm taking Klay. I'm taking Kobe over Klay.
Oh, you taking Klay?
No, I'm not taking him. No, I'm not. That was a slip.
Take it back.
Kobe over Klay. And then at the point guard position, we ran.
That's not close. That's not close.
We ran 3 different guys out there. This is really about defending Steph Curry. It really isn't about head up. But I think we had Ron Harper, so we played a bigger guard during this season for the most part.
Yeah.
So we played. Ron Harper was our starter at 6'6". So I think he's a guy that could at least give Steph Curry a little something to think about. Although we're playing in a different time period, so it's difficult to say exactly how the matchup would work because there wasn't a player like Steph Curry at that time. I mean, the closest thing you had was Ray Allen or something. So
Well, yeah, and then you're asking Ron Harper to defend the 3-point line, and then on top of that, having to go through multiple switches and back screens.
Yeah, but we're also saying that we're playing, if we're keeping all things consistent, it's a much more physical series than what the Warriors are traditionally used to as well.
I would say yes, but the Warriors have also thrived in physical series. It's a slow
Not
start
that physical.
for them.
You don't remember Shaq. You don't remember Shaq like I do. Not that physical.
Hold on. I do. Shaq was one of the most dominant. And
Robert Horry threw a guy out of bounds.
Yeah, he did.
Physically.
He did.
Like he picked him up and threw.
Draymond kicks people in the nuts. So
yeah, but then he turns around and pretends like he didn't do it. So that's fake. That's fake tough. I'm not counting that.
I'm taking Curry at the point, but I don't think Harper is guarding Curry. He can get physical with him. I think he can. But let's not talk about refs in this prime right now, because obviously refereeing in 01 to 2017
it's different. It's different.
Is definitely different.
Well, do you think that Kobe, because remember this is all defensive team, Kobe would be able to play on Steph Curry, or they end up putting him on Durant? Either way,
I think. Well, I mean, it's a mismatch between the at 1, 2, and 3. You're saying Kobe's your best defender. He's got to fight. Who you defending out of those 3?
Yeah. Well, you can put different guys in different places. I mean, you know, Derek Fisher in his own right was a fairly good defender, and we haven't even got to the bench. That's where Derek Fisher really is in this particular team, because the bench for the bench for the Lakers includes Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, Devin George, Tyrone Lue, and Robert Horry.
I think Robert Horry and Andre Iguodala cancel each other out.
And Brian Shaw, if you wanted to play him, who really didn't do a lot, to be honest. He just ran the offense for a little while and knocked down a 3 here or there. But Devin George, Robert Horry, and Rick Fox, those guys actually finished a lot of games for us. So I think those teams, those guys, those 3 guys I just named can legitimately guard. You can't, KD's going to get a shot no matter what, but those guys are guys that you could put on Klay Thompson. Those guys are guys you could sub in to at least guard a guy like, Steph for a moment, for a few minutes.
Yeah, but you're also trying to stop the world's best 3-point shooter.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And that's the Warriors stretching the court further than the Lakers, because in the 2001s it was there was no such thing as there was no jump shotting. I mean, there were guys who were perimeter shooters, but you didn't have them on a consistent basis like you have now.
Right.
So that, for me, the Lakers would get so far stretched out with these defenders, you're not going to know what to do. The one thing that has stayed consistent is center play. Centers haven't really changed the game at all, outside of now you probably get centers shooting threes. But the one thing's for certain, there's no one stopping Shaq. I will agree with that one there. Shaq and Kobe probably go for about 60 and 30.
Yeah. I think
hold on. I don't want to give Shaq 60. That's way too many fucking points. That's way too much.
I think what we have to consider is the fact that this team poses a lot of what the Warriors' weaknesses are, and that's guys that are 6'6" plus up and down the roster. And the Warriors, they don't, and even the way the league is set up to some extent, you guys have to rebound by committee. You don't have one guy that you're asked to go in there and do it. You guys are playing small, and you're asking smaller guys to go in and rebound for you.
Yeah.
Guys like Horace Grant and Robert Horry and Rick Fox, all these guys are 6'6" or bigger. I'm not even talking about Shaq. I'm just talking about your 3s and your 4s. These are bigger guys. And Robert Horry is a legitimate 6'10" guy. He's a guy that's the same height as Kevin Durant. We don't really have too many of those guys sitting around the league that much anymore, to be quite honest with you. And so to be able to run a group out there that's that tall, I think presents a rebounding problem and an interior problem, meaning that you're not going to get paint points. You're not going to get a lot of paint points. You're not going to get a lot of layups. You're not going to get, but you're going to get threes. But you'll get threes. So there really is a question of, can you take away enough high percentage shots from the Lakers in order to dominate the game? Because this team was also a very good defensive ball club as well. You had dogs out there. Rick Fox, he looks pretty, but he played rough. He played hard. He was mainly a defender that can knock down a 3. You got Robert Horry. Robert Horry is going to elbow somebody. He's a guy that has the size and the height to collect rebounds, but he could also stretch the floor and knock down many a big time 3 for this Lakers team. You had guys like Derek Fisher who can spell Horace or Ron Harper, and sometimes play more minutes than Ron Harper because he was younger, and could help set up the offense and knock down 3s. The other factor is you play the triangle offense, which was built on spacing to allow a big man to catch a ball in space and make plays, which nobody runs anymore.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
What?
We run the triangle too.
No, you don't. You run
with
what Pop runs, what Pop ran, okay? Which includes some things from the triangle, yes.
Jackson.
But
yes, it does.
The triangle offense is based on continuous movement at all times, with 3 players on the weak side or strong side of the floor. That's why you got to have a big and a little. So they ran that to perfection. They always did. It created a lot of open 3s for guys like Robert Horry or Rick Fox standing in the corner knocking down an easy 3. So in any case, I think I could argue that the bench for the Lakers is better than the bench for the Warriors.
Man, you're lucky I ain't got a laptop in front of me.
I'll pull up the roster for you, man. It's all good.
But
Here's your backups.
Sean Livingston,
Matt Barnes, Ian Clark, Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, JaVale McGee, Patrick McCaw, and Zaza Pachulia. And then David West.
Oh, Zaza Pachulia was our starting center, so put Kevon Looney on the bench.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. It does not matter who's starting at center.
He's not. I mean, that's just barbecue chicken.
I hate to fucking say it. I can't defend the Warriors bench because that was a rookie class when you really look at it.
I was
from there.
Dude, come on, y'all had to give up some stuff to get K. I mean, you had to get KD in there, so you didn't have enough money for everybody else. I understand. And we're gonna take a break and go to the chat. So Jerome says Green can guard multiple positions too. Yes, he could, but he could not guard Kobe, and he cannot guard Shaq. So the only people on this particular roster he would be guarding would be guys that aren't stars, which is not helpful for a team.
But he could defend multiple players. The Lakers only had one guy for one. They didn't have a guy who could defend multiple players.
Well, I don't know if you got a guy like Rick Fox who's 6'7" can guard. He can guard a 4 up to. He can guard a 3 or 4.
He's not sticking with Curry.
No, I said a 3 and a 4. I didn't say a 2. I didn't say Curry. He's not
sticking with Durant either.
Well, he's gonna have to. I mean, you can put Robert Horry. Robert Horry can guard at the bigger positions. Now I agree with you. They can't switch on to 1s and 2s. I agree with you on that. But we're talking guys that have enough size to play against guys from the 3 to the 4 position, and even the 5 if you played without Shaq and Small. It's a big team.
No.
It's a big team. It's a big team.
Hey, it's a big team, but big boys get slowed down when that pace picks up.
Dude, I agree with you, and I think the only reason that the only way the advantage is in the paint for the Lakers. That's the advantage.
Of course, 100%.
And the question is going to be, will you make more threes than I will layups and dunks?
I mean, we all know the number 3 is higher than the number 2.
Yeah, but it's shot at a lower percentage. The best 3-point shooter in the league is only shooting 40%.
That's a big percentage compared to the rest of the league.
Not if Shaq is shooting 55, 60% from the field. You got to think about it, B. Come on now. Look, I'm not going to break everybody's heart right now, but if you look at the players, that are the top scorers in the entire league, they're not just 3-point shooters. There isn't one guy we could call just a 3-point shooter that is in the very top. And the reason is because the 3-point shot is a low percentage shot. Yes, Curry is the best. But the best doesn't shoot 50%. Jordan shot 50% from the field for his career. When Bron hangs it up, he's going to shoot 50-something% from the field. Same thing for Kareem and other players. The layup and the dunk are higher percentage shots than 3-point shots. You can't argue with me on that.
But no, they are. You're right. But you're talking about a regular team who can't shoot.
I agree. You're right.
Like the Warriors
I agree.
You have the 2 best shooters in the world on that team. So you mean to tell me what the league considers is a low percentage shot is a high percentage shot for the Warriors?
Well, the Warriors. So you're saying the Warriors shoot 50% from 3-point line? 3-point?
Most of the time, yes. Now there are games. You can look this up. They're around 48 to 50 as far as from the 3.
As a team, Curry, you sure about that?
I'm 100% sure.
I gotta look at the stats on that because that seems a little far fetched. All right, let's take a look.
How can you say that when Curry?
Well, I guess you got Durant, so I guess that kind of helps you figure that out.
So there are 3 deadly snipers from the 3-point line that can shoot 50% from the 3-point line between the 3 of them.
All right, so here's your year ranking. Okay, so I'm looking this up. This is the roster. This is for the entire 2016 to 2017 team, right? For the year. Okay, team and opponent stats. All right. So, field goal percentage for the whole team. 50%, 495. 3-point field goal percentage, .383, 38%. Okay, no whole team shoots 50% from the field for an entire season.
We're not talking about that whole team. I'm talking about 3 players shooting 50%.
Well, we're talking about a team, though, man. We're not just talking about.
You're right. We're talking about a team, but low percentage shots for. Let's look at. I'll compare them to. Who's the team that likes to shoot the 3 the most? The Portland Trailblazers when they had McCollum and Lillard, right?
Yeah.
They were taking way too many high percentage shots or too many low percentage shots, and they weren't going in at a high rate. The Warriors shoot the 3 at a high rate, but they also make a high rate of 3s as well. Between 3 players alone, that's where you're kind of canceling out Shaq's 50% from underneath the hoop. If we were underneath the hoop, we'd be shooting 50% as well.
Yeah.
If we had his size.
Yeah, of course.
That's where the Warriors turn a little special because they have 3 guys. One guy in particular, in Kevin Durant, who can shoot a 17-footer almost automatically, but also take you 25 to 30 feet beyond the arc.
Yeah.
And then you have Clay and Curry as well, who can also light it up from behind the arc as well. Clay likes to kind of get into the paint every once in a while. I don't think it would happen in this series based off of the Lakers' size.
Yeah.
But you have to respect 3 shooters from the perimeter.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Lakers can't get out that far consistently. They're gonna have to focus. They got to beam in on one of them, but that leaves 2 more shooters that have that same deadly range.
Yeah, well, you put the most sedentary defender on Klay Thompson because what you're asking him to do is chase. So if you're asking a guy to chase somebody, then you can even put a smaller player. You just need them to chase Klay, and then from there you're just looking to keep guys off the 3-point line. I think that's really what it comes down to, and force guys into the paint.
Look how hard that's going to be because
I'm not saying it's going to be easy.
Kevin Durant can get to the paint and get that little bunny shot. That's automatic for him. It's the Curry and the Thompsons who you really need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Outside of that, so
and I'm gonna take a break to get to the chat because folks are on here. So it's we got Jerome. I was talking about JaMychal Green early too. Oh, okay, JaMychal Green early. Okay, JaMychal Green. And let's see, but Drake can too. Okay. Drake as far as guarding multiple positions. Then we got Josh. Curry's next power move is the skyhook 3. All right.
Come on.
Well, it could be coming. It could be coming.
It could be coming. The skyhook 3, that was a good one, Josh. I like that one.
The other thing I'll point out is who do you think the best team during the regular season was for that 2001 season?
Ooh.
Best team record-wise.
It wasn't the Lakers weren't the best team record-wise in there.
Mm-hmm. It's the other
2001.
Who's the other big boy in the 2000s? Come on.
It wasn't the Warriors. We were the weak boys.
Man, you gotta know this because your coach played on this damn team.
Oh, it was the Spurs.
That's right. The San Antonio Spurs were 58-24. The Lakers, who were always a lazy regular season team, from what I remember, they finished 56-26. Remember, Shaq didn't get healthy until halfway through the year. For folks who don't remember what this team was like, Shaq was out of weight going into all of these seasons.
Man, that fool out of weight since he left Orlando.
Yeah, he was always overweight. He literally wasn't in playing form until after the All-Star break. So, and this is why Kobe and Shaq didn't get along. But anyway, yeah, it was the San Antonio Spurs. They almost won 60 games for the season with 58-24. They have been, pretty much one of the better teams throughout the season. Obviously, the better team. They had the best record in the entire NBA. Do you know what? And actually played against the Lakers in this playoffs. Any guess what happened to them?
Well, I mean,
you know what happened to them.
Pretty simple.
They got swept because everybody got swept. The only team that
everybody got swept, but that was the same for the Warriors though, and the Warriors were a 60-win team in 2016-2017.
Well, I mean, first off, you're cheating with Kevin Durant. We're gonna start there. But let's look at who you played against I got to see who you guys actually played against during the playoffs because I don't remember. Oh, okay.
Houston Rockets.
Let's see. First round, you played the Portland Trailblazers.
That was a sweep. Then the Utah Jazz. That was another sweep.
And then, lo and behold, the San Antonio Spurs again.
Swept their asses right out that gym.
And then you played the Cleveland Cavaliers. So,
and the only thing that held the Warriors back from sweeping that team was a terrible performance in Game 4.
Yeah.
And that was it. This is such a great debate because it's very rare you see teams. Well, I mean the Cavs at that point too. The Cavs were also only a one-loss team in the playoffs before they saw the Warriors. They had only lost a game. They basically swept everyone as well. Getting into there. Boston, I believe, beat the Cavs once in the conference finals before the Warriors and Cavs played. So you had two teams blowing through their respective conferences to see each other in the finals for the third straight time. Who did the Lakers play in the East that year?
You mean Cleveland, or you said who the Lakers played?
Who the Lakers played?
Yeah, so we played the Portland Trailblazers in the first round. We played a much better team than you played. We played the Sacramento Kings in the second round.
Oh, come on! You know they were never good.
No. That team. No. I'm sorry. I'm comparing who we beat to who you beat. The Utah Jazz consisted of who?
Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert.
In 2017. Yeah, they were a young, rambunctious team that didn't know what they were doing.
But we beat a veteran Spurs team.
Yeah, so did we. We also beat the Sacramento team with Mike Bibby and Chris Webber.
Okay.
Lottie Divac, Bobby Jackson, Hito Turkoglu coming off the bench, Peja Stojakovic.
Well, who they play in the finals? It was the Pacers.
No, we didn't play the Pacers. That was the next year. That's when we won our third championship in the three-peat. We beat the Allen Iverson 76ers.
Get out of here.
What do you mean? How is that not different from the LeBron-led?
You mean to tell me the AI is better than LeBron?
Yeah, well, if I got KD on my team and those two shooters, it isn't that much different.
Don't be mad.
That's not that much different.
Don't be mad about that. All right, so to finish it, I know you're gonna think the Lakers win. What are they winning?
Oh yeah, so I think the Lakers do win. I think the Lakers win. I think this goes 7 games, baby. This goes 7 because Shaq is gonna make it so that all of your bigs don't play. They're either gonna be in foul trouble or you're gonna have to play somebody smaller.
We rarely use our bigs to begin with.
Well, you would have to in this series because you need somebody to suck up the fouls.
You're right.
You admitted yourself that you're gonna hack a Shaq, right? So you're gonna have to.
We're gonna make his ass shoot free throws.
Somebody's gonna have to give up 6 fouls, and it's gonna have to be Kevon Looney Kevon Looney's not on this team. It's gonna have to be David.
Kevon Looney's on that team.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am.
Why am I not seeing him? Where is he?
He's there.
No, he's not.
Yes.
No, he is not. I'm going to read off everybody on your roster right now. Matt Barnes, Ian Clark, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Iguodala, Damian Jones, Sean Livingston. Oh, there he is. Yeah, you're right. There he is. Bastard.
Thank you very much.
First year in the league. He's not even playing.
Yes, he was.
Oh, no, he's not. He got more minutes than David West. No, he didn't play in the playoffs that much. Come on, get out of here. Zaza Pachulia is the one who got the playoff time. If any time.
Zaza and Shaq would have been having fun down low.
Oh, he would have done
Zaza would have done something dirty.
Yeah. No. There would have been some technical fouls. Somebody would have got punched. It's okay.
I'm going to say the Warriors. I'm going to start some shit. The Warriors in 5.
Warriors in 5. All right.
Because they steal a game at the Staples Center.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Jackson, those Laker teams, this particular team didn't have a problem playing at home, but the other ones did in the playoffs. But, yeah, I got him in 7, man. I think y'all don't have an answer for Kobe. Y'all don't have an answer for Shaq. That's how I see it.
We contain Kobe, and we don't have an answer for Shaq. Because we could throw multiple defenders at Kobe.
Well, you got to do the same thing for Shaq. You got to rotate somebody in there.
It doesn't matter who guards Shaq. That's a different beast there. It's not going to work regardless of what you do. whatever center goes out there is picking up 6 fouls.
Right.
That's
But what I'm saying is you don't want it to be Draymond Green that picks up 4 or 5 fouls. It's got to be somebody else.
But Shaq goes 0 for 12 from the line, so we're not really
0 for 12
out of those.
Right.
Out of those. But
oh man.
Anybody else? Who we got?
All right, let's go back to the chat. So we got so Curry's okay. Well, we got that. We got Jerome with Queens. I don't know what that's in reference to. What's that in reference to? Be Queens. Oh, he's talking about the Sacramento Kings. Yeah, Queens. Gotcha. Cowbell City. You know about them cowbells, baby. Thought that was gonna help them win, didn't? Can we talk about the 2022 Baseball Hall of Fame?
Who said that?
Josh. So we got Josh coming in.
You missed it, Josh. We talked about it.
Yeah, and Josh also chimed in. Barry Bond needs to be in this. Yes, we discussed that too.
Yep, we agree 100% to that.
And then Jerome politely said, "Hey, Josh, they did earlier." Boom! As the chat checks itself.
Yes, we covered it. You good, Josh?
Yeah, and
I know you out there living that aloha life.
Yeah. So yeah, Josh, we talked about Big Papi getting in, and the fact that means Barry Bonds should get in too. So yeah, we hit on that. And at the end, of course, Josh chimes in with the "oh crap, I got in late." It's all good, baby.
Hey, but thank you for tuning in.
Hey, it's all
man.
good,
we really
man.
Appreciate it. We really love it.
Yeah.
If anything, just take a rewind. Probably about 20 minutes, 15 minutes into the show, we cover all that there for you.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Other than that, man, I guess these kind of debates will always spring up: who's the best team, who's the best player, because it's a topic that is a very highly debatable topic when it comes to these teams.
Especially talking about different eras, man. It kind of goes without saying it's a toss up, but yeah, man. But it's always fun to talk. But I want to make sure everybody knows. Next week we're gonna start our show a little bit earlier. So next Sunday at 6:30, not 9 or excuse me 8, but at 6:30 Sunday we'll be starting. So folks, keep that in mind. 6:30 p.m. next Sunday. And we're going to be chatting it up about some controversial topics, I think. So we got some stuff in store for you guys.
We got to change some things up here. It's gonna tell your friends, tell everyone. This will be our first kind of real big topic here. When it comes to it, to say the least, we're not going to release any information because we do want it to be something that we keep close guard to, but it is going to be something that is going to be a very big topic to talk about. Sports related, definitely, because this is a sports talk show. But tune in on Sunday, 6:30. We're gonna have a guest speaker with us as well, who wants to talk about this on with it as well. But please tune in. We promise you this will be a great show coming up.
That's right. Be ready. All right, y'all. So we out again. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe. You know somebody that might be interested in our content. Lead them to us.
Lead them to the promised land. Down below. Subscribe.
All right.
All right, y'all.
All right.
T, have a good night, my brother.
All right. Late.
Peace.